And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel. You might be surprised to hear this, but Rory Story Cubes, a little set of 9 dice that you can buy, and there's actually many different variations, is one of the most sold games in the world. It's true. It's basically just a game where you roll dice and you make a story with the things that you have on them. That's essentially it. Now, they made all kinds of story cubes, from Doctor Who to Batman to IQ. There's all sorts of different groups of these. Well, that's all the game is making stories. Well, today we're taking a look at Untold Adventures Await. And this is kind of taking these cubes and putting them in and letting kids use the power of their imagination to make sort of a television show where they are the stars using these dice and the contents of this box. So in Untold Stories, you're going to be playing through like a series. I think a cartoon is the best way to do it. So you're going to name your series, and then you're going to have different episodes. You're going to talk about when does it take place, where. You can write anything you want on these. You can write all sorts of things. There's an extra sheet on, side, things that you have. So you can be as detailed or not as detailed as you want. Each player then is going to be filling out a character profile on these sheets here, and you're going to talk about special abilities you might have or special knowledges, and then after different episodes you might get more, and then an iconic role. And so these character profiles, it will show what episodes you appear in on the back, and so each player is going to take one of those. You're going to be playing on this, like each episode is a story in and of itself. And so to do that, you're going to take a card. So you have the final showdown, the truth revealed, a heroic undertaking, the plot thickens, and a dangerous dilemma. And so for each part, you're going to flip one of these tiles. So dangerous dilemma, you'll see these are fairly similar here as to what they look like, but there's going to be some different things that are on them, different symbols, which are going to mean various things. Players will have these boards, and these boards will tell you what different symbols mean. So for example, here I have 2 things, a blue and a yellow. And then I have that someone is accusing, and then someone or something. So I'm going to roll all these dice here, and the players are going to decide who's accusing something. So I might be like the evil rainbow. Okay, so we're going to look here. This is a threat, and this is a location. So I might be like, in the Rainbow Kingdom, the Mr. Roundhead is accusing the players of stealing the red color out of the rainbow. Oh man, so how are we going to deal with that? So players are going to deal with that. Again, it's very free form, okay? So you have 4 questions you can ask. So players might ask a question, or they have different actions that they can take. When asking a question, you're going to take the dice that aren't on the board so far. You'll roll those. So maybe someone will be like, why is this person accusing us? And then I might say, well, long ago, we had locked him out of the kingdom because of a crime he committed, and he's very unhappy about that. So you can use any sort of these dice to answer a question. If you take an action, I'll be like, I stand up and I say, I post signs everywhere telling people that I'm innocent. And so when that happens, you're going to draw an outcome thing. So yes, that worked. People start believing that I'm innocent, and I'll turn over reaction. And the boss is a little embarrassed that no one's believing him. Of course, the outcome could be completely different. I'd be like, yeah, everyone believes we're innocent, but the government's a little upset with me for wasting money on the time. And now I'm a little nervous because I might have to pay a fine. So there's positive outcomes. This one's like the best because it means you succeeded and something good happens. But here, you succeeded and something bad. You failed and something bad happens. Here you failed, or here you failed, but there might be a positive upside to it. So these cards, you just, each kid will say, or each person playing, I'm taking an action and I'm going to do this. And then you just flip this over, and you as a group explain what's going to happen. So when you're done with that, then you go to the plot thickens, and you'll roll the dice again and put a die here, and then a heroic undertaking, and you're slowly going to get down to the final showdown. Now remember, there's really no rules here. There's just a bunch of different symbols talking about different threats, and as the game goes by, you're going to have more and more of your dice used until the end when all your dice have been used. And at that point, hopefully, you will defeat it, or maybe you don't, and then you just go to the next episode. It's a to be continued. This whole game is just a framework for you to tell these stories on with different dice and the different cards that are involved. The dice are good quality, as all Rory Story dice are, and this game comes with a set of dice, but you can always plug your own dice. There's all sorts of Rory Story Cube sets out there. The cards are okay quality, but they're going to get nicked up pretty badly. You can see there's already some nicks on the edges of these from being used. I wish they had been slightly better, but it is what it is. And these are nice because the dice nestle right inside them. There's a recess here. And then there's lots of different tokens that players will use for various functions, for questions and all sorts of things. There's play, you can pause the action. And there's a lot of sheets involved in the game and a lot of room. Doesn't matter how much you want to write, there's probably enough room on these tablets for it. Now I have some mixed feelings on this. It seems to me, initially, I'm like, wow, there are so many rules and so much going on in this game. I mean, if I grab this rule book here, there is a lot of explanation. But here's the deal. Once you figure out that you don't really need all that explanation. I mean, it's there, but it's this big framework for you just to tell your own stories. That's all it is. You can tell any stories you want. And when you play with kids, they like that. I found that this is best to play with an adult, with kids. And I'm like, okay, here's what we can do next. Here's the questions we can ask. And we make up our stories. And my kids have seen enough cartoons and things to come up with ideas and stuff. So here we have Wacky Rainbow. Their job was to maintain unicorns in the land. And they want to slide down rainbows. That's why they're compelled to go venturing. They can pause time and have super speed. Rosa is a singer who wants to go save the world. They can climb walls and turn invisible. And these kids work together and we make up the stories and they come, and my kids loved it. Now, if you want to know my kids, the ones I played this with are ranging from 8 to 12, but they just loved telling these stories and talking about this and having this adventure. And they ran with the bad stuff that happened. They ran with the good stuff. They loved it. When it was done, they were talking about it, and they said this was one of the most favorite experiences they ever had. And I was sitting there with all the paper and all the rules and everything going, what just happened? They really liked it. I was really kind of surprised. And I'm glad, right? Now, I would, I have so many games. So it's always debate, how many games am I going to keep? I'm really debating keeping this one because my kids loved it so much. So if I keep it, I think I'm going to go out and buy like 3 sets of Rory Story Cubes of different ones, right? And stick them in the box. Just have all different things that we can plug in different adventures, just to have different things, because there's 9 dice with 6 sides, it's 54 things. The same stuff's going to show up more often than not. I think I would like a little bit more variety in that. And at the same time, I'm sitting here going, what? Who cares what episode they appear in? What does it care about the motivation? But this stuff helps the kids. And if you want your kids to be creative, to go farther, to learn more, this gives you that framework to build on. And so while I sat there and was like, wow, what is all this stuff? At the end, I was like, a teacher should consider using this. This is great. It's a great creative activity. And you know what? Frankly, it's probably not even a game. It's just an activity you do with your kids. And you go on to the next episode, and it will allow you to form memories and bonds, and it's a fantastic thing. So I have to say, I really think this is a cool idea. I wasn't sold on it when I first heard it. I was like, what? Why are we making Rory Story Cubes so complex? We're not making it complex. We're allowing kids to think in more complex ways, which is what they should do. Untold Adventures Await. Join me. Dice Tower Judgment, great storytelling for kids.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.